Welcome back, besties. I know that you've missed us. It's only been a week, but we are ready to get into an episode all about not settling and building a life of intention. Because if you are in a position at the moment where you're listening to this and something's feeling off, or you want more for yourself, but you have a fear of judgment, or you just don't know what the next move is, or maybe you're in this cycle of just being a perfectionist and waiting for the right time, this episode is going to change that because we understand how that feels. We have felt that way on our fitness journey, in business, in life, and we want to share with you what we've actually done to move through that.
I love that. Why do people settle? That is the question on everyone's lips. Well, it's a question on my lips. I find this a very interesting concept is like, I think majority of people settle for an okay or mediocre or average life, I say in quotations, usually out of fear, right? When you decide to do something that is outside of the norm, goes against the status quo, challenges you, pushes you outside your comfort zone, it's really scary, right? It usually comes with maybe a little bit of backlash, like unfamiliar territory, people judging you. Failure might be the thing that's kind of clouding your mind. So it's a lot more easy, or it's a lot easier, that's better English, to just settle, to get comfortable and to potentially stay in a job that you hate, or a relationship that doesn't serve you, or a friendship group that's not helping you grow, or not starting your business because you're afraid that you might fail or it won't work out. And it's really quite easy to settle, right? And I always look at it from the lens of like, you know, without getting too morbid this early into the episode, but you have one life on this earth, right? And I say this all the time, but it's really true. You have one shot. And like I always look, I don't want to be in my 60s looking back going, damn, I wish I tried harder, or damn, I wish I launched that business, or damn, I wish I took care of my health, or damn, I wish I started building muscle mass back in the day. It's like, I just want to give everything a go and just try hard at things and not have an average life and not settle.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that if you're listening to this, we're not talking about like needing to do anything crazy or there's anything wrong with just like working a normal job. We're just saying if you want to do something, you're unhappy with what you're doing at the moment and you want more for your fitness, you want to put yourself out there more, this is who this conversation is for. It's like, okay, cool. You want more. How are you actually going to do that? And what are your blind spots that are stopping you from doing that? You spoke about fear of judgment. I think that's such a massive one because
huge.
If maybe you're not into fitness, like it's not your identity at the moment, but you would love to, like deep down, you've always wanted to be a confident gym girl. You've always wanted to be that person, but it's not you at the moment. I think that can be really hard because it takes a full identity shift. Like if you have grown up and your friends and your family know you existing as one way, and then all of a sudden your lifestyle changes, that can be hard. Not that anyone's deliberately trying to like tear you down, but like even just little comments of people being like, oh, what are you doing? Or maybe you've decided instead of staying out and drinking all night, your values have changed. Like all of this takes a lot of going against the grain of what you're used to, but that's what is required often when you're going through these shifts, or if you want more, if you want change. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going around in circles in the same spot that you currently are, that you're unhappy with.
And I think also when you decide that you don't want to settle and you want to do something that is, and it can be anything, right? It can be just posting content on social media. Like you want to document your life, like the smallest thing. But for you, you're like, well, I'm not doing that right now because I'm afraid of judgment, I'm afraid of failure. Something that everyone listening to this podcast needs to understand is like you need to be okay with being misunderstood, period. You cannot control other people's opinions of you, the way that they perceive you, what they think of you. You can't control that. And it's also not your responsibility to try and filter who you are and what you want to do to keep other people happy in case you upset someone or someone doesn't agree with you or people start making all these comments. That's not the life that you want to be living, especially if you right now are like, well, yeah, I am settling for average. Like I want to create content, but I keep finding myself that I'm afraid of judgment and that's why I don't do it. But then I also find myself going, oh, shit, I should have just done that 12 months ago. I should have started documenting this. I should have started posting this. I should have gone after this. So being okay with being misunderstood is, for me, one of the biggest things that like changed my whole perception, reality with what I could do in my life was when I actually just let go of having to have control of how people perceive me and being okay if somebody commented something that wasn't the truth, because it's not. And I know that to my core. And if I know I'm moving with good intention, we're all good.
Yeah, I think my favorite saying that I've seen recently, which really resonates with me and also this point, is the price of freedom is cringe.
Absolutely.
If you want to go after what you want, if you want to put yourself out there, someone might perceive that as being cringe, or they might not like it, or they might judge you. But it's like, do you want to be boxed in by that, or do you want to be free? Because if you want to do the thing you want and you're moving again with good intentions and you have big goals for yourself, you're going to have to just move past that, because otherwise you are literally going to be boxed and weighed down by other people's views. And again, people don't even know what's possible for themselves. So why are you letting them dictate what's possible for you? I think that is really freeing. And you might see how we present, today, and we've both had different kind of experiences of this. But I used to be crippled by what to post on social media. I used to put filters over everything that I would post on my story. Like if I look back at it, I think like, who's that?
Yeah.
Like I would have been insecure in terms of like how I was perceived. I would have been overthinking absolutely everything. I would have been thinking, what if this gets taken insert way? I would have not been authentic because it feels vulnerable. All of those things, right? Like we have felt that. So I really resonate with anyone who feels that way. Again, wanting to post content, wanting to put yourself out there, wanting to try new things. I fully understand. And the mindset things that I think really helped, some that you've already spoken about, but I really think that just knowing that you're moving from a good place and knowing that you want more for yourself and understanding that putting yourself out there is going to be the thing that gets you closer to that and not keeping yourself small, I think is really powerful. If I reflect on different opportunities that have come my way, and if I think of like the last 5 years, like I went on a TV show and I was flown to New Zealand, and I was on a like game show where I hiked in New Zealand with 14 competitors. Like that is such a rogue side quest as part of my life, right? But that only happened because I put myself on social media. I apply for things. I try things. And that's just a small example. I could think of like 5 or 10 others, but it's just like, if you want to try new things and if you want a different direction, you can't be not putting yourself out there. It's not going to be the thing that gets you there. The thing that's going to get you closer to what you want is experimentation. It's going to be trial and error. It's going to be, you want to get confident on social media. It's not going to happen by not showing up on social media. You want to get confident in the gym. It's not going to happen by not training in the gym. Like so many of us are avoiding the thing that we need to do to get to that full potential of ourselves. And that thing requires us to actually just drop our ego for a second and just show up, do the work, get better at it, knowing that you're going to be shit. Like if I look back at what I posted on social media 5 years ago, I probably cringe, but it's like, I don't really care. I'm okay with cringing at myself 5 years ago because that makes me feel how I feel now, which is free, it's confident, it's unaffected by other people's opinions, because the way that I view myself is rock solid. So that's all that really matters. I'm clearly very passionate about this topic, but essentially what I want the takeaway to be is you need to put yourself out there. You need to not be weighed down by other people's opinions. And the price of freedom is being okay with being cringe.
Absolutely. I think being cringe is like such a weird concept because like it's only cringe until it's cool. And then people ask you how you did it, or they'll ask you if you're hiring or if you have a job position for them, really. It always works out that way. And a lot of the time, and another little thing that we can all get our heads around is like if somebody's passing judgment towards you, 9 times out of 10, it's coming from a place of projection. You know, they're throwing a judgment at you because they could never do or have the balls to do what you want to do. Or maybe they've always wanted to do what you do, but you doing it is a mirror for them that they're not willing to actually stand in front of and face. And when we think about it, it's like, you know, I always think like this way. I'm living my life for me and like the people that I love. If I know, like I said, I'm doing it out of a good place, it's not coming from a malice place, it's really no one else's business. And then I also think like on the other side of this, like I think about my career, okay? career makes me sound so old. I think about my career and I think, imagine I decided not to post. Honestly, it wasn't even the posting content because I never really had an issue with that, if I'm honest. I did do the whole like filter thing, but I think that was just like a trend in 2020 because I look back at every single piece of my content. There was not one thing that didn't have a dumb, ugly ass filter on it. And I think back in my career, right, I always think like, imagine I decided to not show up. Imagine I decided to stay in the job that I hated. Imagine I decided to not have an opinion, not spread my message, constantly try to control how other people perceive me and being misunderstood. I would not have impacted thousands of women's lives all around the world. Like truly. Because I would have never shown up. I would have never had an opinion. I would have never posted. I would have never been able to get people the results that I can get them today because I was so afraid of what some random person that I probably don't even know or I don't really respect that much or doesn't have the life that I want thinks about me. And that is like enough to snap me back into reality and go, you know what? I'm on the right path. Because I have a skill set, like every one of us does. We have a skill set that has the opportunity to help somebody else. And when you actually pull it back to going, I don't want to post on social media, it's too hard, content creation, this, whatever. It's like, but what about the people that are struggling that need your help? Like you're robbing them of the opportunity to do better and learn and change their lives potentially. And like that for me is enough to go, I don't give a fuck what people think of me because I know what I'm doing. I'm on the right road for that.
I think that as well. Like I've got something that can help people. I can help people in mass if I show up on social media. The other thing that helped me kind of overcome the whole, what if this person doesn't like it or understand the point that I'm coming from? I just used to think I just need to speak to one person. And that one person could be who I was struggling when I first started my fitness journey. As long as I'm speaking to that one person, I know that I can help, again, one person. And if that's what I do today by making a post or talking or doing something, like that's enough. I don't really need things to go viral. I just need to have a consistent message so people know, like if you go on my account, you know what I'm about. I'm about sustainable results. You know that I help you through gym anxiety. You know what I'm about because there's that persistent messaging. And that's all I really care about. I don't care about catering to everyone. And I don't care about if someone doesn't understand it because I know what I'm about. And I know that I needed what I'm about now when I started my fitness journey. And that's all that really matters.
It's like, have you heard of the bean soup theory?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we live in a world, like the 21st century, everything is what about me? People have this fucking problem where they're like, what about me? This girl posted a bean soup recipe on TikTok or YouTube or something. And someone in the comments says, but what if I don't like beans? Instead of just scrolling on and going, well, clearly this bean soup recipe isn't for me because I don't like beans. It's like, if you are like, and sorry, we're going on a tangent about posting on social media for a second, but if you're held back because you're worried about trying to please absolutely everyone, think of that bean soup theory. It's like you could create a recipe about bean soup and there's still someone in the comments that's going to not like beans. You cannot please everybody. And every single time you think that you need to please anyone, and this also goes for outside of content, like for example, leaving your job, I don't want to disappoint my boss, or deciding that you get to the end of your university degree and you don't want to use it, I don't want to disappoint my parents. It's like every single time you're faced with this, you always have the opportunity to take a different path if you want to. And yeah, the bean soup theory is crazy because it's like we live in this world where people cannot just discern what's for them and what's not for them. They have to have a fucking opinion on everything. And it's like, can you not, Susan, sorry to the Susans, but like Susan, can you just not fucking keep scrolling? Like if you don't agree with the message, just move on with your life. It's not ruining your day. Continue on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now I want to bring this back to building a life of intention. And I want to start that by speaking more to thinking about what that actually looks like. Like you need to get clear of what you actually want. Like if I was to look back at, I went to university thinking that I wanted to get in events. I worked at Rod Laver and did events for years, like in the background, thinking that that was the thing I was going to do. But then I changed my mind because I was like, I want more for myself. And then I had to get clear of what that looked like. And then I had to leave my job. So what I'm getting at is if what you're currently doing is not, you know, the thing that you want to be doing for the next 5 years, or you just want simply more for yourself, you want friendships that are richer in terms of like the depth of conversation. You want to travel the world, whatever it is, you just need to get really clear on what you want. And then I would look at what you're doing every day, the small things. Like if you really, really want to get into the gym and every single day your habits are not supporting that because you scroll until 11 p.m. every night and then you wake up and you're like, oh, it's not happening again today. Like you need to really take it back to the bare bones of like, what do your daily habits actually say? Because if you tell me right now that you want something, show me that you want it. Show me that you want it by actually changing something or putting a plan together and reverse engineering it. And using that example of fitness, I want to see you scheduling in your training sessions. I want to see you following a structured training program. I want to see you making goals for yourself. And sometimes we're afraid of writing down our goal. Maybe it's like, I want to lose 5 kilos, right? As just an example. If you are afraid to write it down, it's because you're held accountable, but we need that accountability because if you don't have structure, if you don't have things holding you accountable, it's really easy for it not to happen and then no one else to know. So I think it's really important to look at your habits, look at what you really want, and then go after it.
And also you need to embody the person that you want to become, right? You need to show up as that person before you have everything that you want to achieve. So for example, if you want to leave your job, it's like you're not just going to go to your job and complain about your fucking job and not do anything to change it. You're going to have to start doing things on the side that show up for yourself or start proving to yourself really that you can leave your job to start your business. For example, you want to leave your job, you want to start a business, you better start being really fucking consistent. You better start creating content. You better start educating yourself, listening to podcasts, becoming a student, doing all the things that you need to do, but you need to start acting like the person that you want to become really before you're able to, reap the rewards of all of those fruits.
Yeah.
Because you can't just say that you want to lose 10 kilos, but you're still ordering Uber Eats every night. You're complaining about the way that you look. You're not moving your body anymore. You're not getting your steps in. You're not going to the gym. Like those two don't marry up. You also can't say that, I want to find more aligned friendships, but then you sit with your girlfriends and you talk shit about everybody else. You worry about what everyone else is doing in their lives. You go out and binge drink every single weekend when you say that you don't want to do it. Like you need to look at it. Or for example, you want to grow a business. You say that you want to grow a business. You don't post on social media. You talk shit about everyone who's going after the things that they want to do in their life. Like you need to change your actions, your patterns, habits, and behaviors behind the scenes before you are deserving of reaping that reward.
I want to talk to business for a second because let's just say you want to post on socials and you want to grow a business or you want to grow a personal brand or you want to try something different. I have a hot take. Hot takes. I think that we have to kind of accept that in Australia, we have a problem with tall poppy syndrome. I can only speak to my experience in Australia, but I've heard that it's a lot different in America and overseas, where essentially if you start acting like, you start posting, you start showing up, you start growing a business, and people will be, maybe making little comments or kind of cutting you down a peg. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, oh, that person's going after it. And it's not until they're super successful that people will be like, oh, how'd you do it, right? But I have heard and I have seen this, that when people are going after it, and I think I've seen this a lot with women, like people will be in the comments having something to say. Like if you use your example, like as you've grown your business, there's been multiple people who have like tried to cut you down a peg, right? And I want to hear people who are listening to this if you have a similar experience. But essentially it's just this concept of just like seeing someone striving, and rather than just being like good for them, it's like, oh, it's because of this, or it's because of that, or it's not going to succeed. And it's just this like negative energy that I think can be associated with sometimes just going after something that can just happen as a society. And it's not everyone, but I've definitely seen it happen as like a bit of an attitude, like who do they think they are kind of situation. And I think that we just might have to accept again to just stay really aligned with what we want and try to block out that external noise.
My hot take is if you do that, you're a fucking loser. Serious. I'm sorry, but if you look at somebody else, and this is the reality check that you all need to hear, if you look at somebody else online, going after what they want, posting content, growing a business, doing what they want to do, and your first initial reaction is, they're a loser. It's daddy's money. There's no way she did that. She's a liar, whatever. You are a loser. And all that says to me is you do not have the balls to do what either I'm doing or that person that you're judging is doing. And you may as well just wear that on a fucking t-shirt. I have no balls at this point, because that's the reality of it.
I also have an add-on point and then we'll wrap it up. But if your initial thought when someone's going after something is that, like, you're just telling me that that excuse is soothing you because you are like, oh, that's why they've got it and I don't have it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's probably easier to say that than just actually do the work.
And I think one more little hot take for me. Sorry, just one more while I'm on it. No, this is actually a good one. This isn't me being a little bit of an asshole. This is actually like a good one, right? You need to have radical self-honesty. So like if you are that person right now who's looking at somebody else and going, there's no way, she's a liar, she's this, insert whatever, you need to be able to take a step back and look in the mirror and going, why am I feeling that way? Because if my initial reaction is to look at another girl, for example, another female, and go, there's no fucking way she's doing that, blah, 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 send it to my group chat, there's a problem with me. Like that, me seeing that is causing a reaction in me for some reason. I need to get curious as to why I'm having that reaction. Is she a mirror for me that she's doing everything that I say I want to do, but I don't have the balls to do it? Is she a mirror for me because I've told all of my friends for the last 10 years, I want to post on social media and she's just going after it? Is she a mirror for me because she started a podcast and my podcast that I didn't put any effort, energy, or consistency into is flopping? So actually getting curious and looking at yourself in the mirror and having that radical self-honesty of like, well, what is this actually? If I'm getting a feeling in my body where I feel like I need to talk shit, what is this bringing up for me? And being able to have a little bit more self-awareness in that, because once you do that, you're going to go, oh my God, okay, she's doing X, Y, and Z and I feel X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden you're going to be able to work through that and probably start growing the business, launching the podcast, going to the gym, building the body, whatever the thing is for you. But you're never going to get there if all you do is talk shit, cut people down without that self-reflection.
And on that note,
I'm very passionate about these topics, guys, but that's why you love us. And on that note, I'm going to eat my Sour Patch Kid and decompress, and we love you so much.
Love you so much. Bye.